Hello, welcome back to another video. Today we got some good old Cash Jordan, good old like Iran activates a sleeper cell, quote unquote, as Ilhan Omar launches assault on America. Bro, I don't think you want to be trying the president right now, especially right now, but hey, whatever. Who am I to tell you how to live your life, right? Let's get into it. See how just how she tries to justify this. I mean, at least the people who are trying to justify this that aren't crazy lunatic liberals are, from what I've seen, service members that are like, yeah, I didn't want to die for Iran, or rather for Israel, which is a valid sentiment. You didn't sign up to defend Israel, you signed up to defend the United States of America. So yeah, I totally feel that. What the fuck? Okay, so yeah.
So, as the United States and Israel continue.
But I will say this, there is a massive difference between the regime change, between us trying to do a regime change in Iraq and us trying to do a regime change here in Iran. The difference is the Iranian people were begging the US for help, begging, literally crying out to the US for help, saying, come help us, please come help us. And I always find it funny to see that, like, it's even funnier because I'm seeing a whole bunch of liberals on X being like, oh, why is it only women celebrating? Why is it only men why men aren't celebrating this liberation? Isn't that a little bit interesting that it's only hot women? It's like, well, yeah. Who do you think was oppressed under Islam, you fucking morons? It was women. They were forced to wear those hijabs. I literally saw a video of an American woman saying that her experience when going to Iran to find work is very oppressive. That the moment before the plane even landed, her mom went fucking nutso covering up, telling her that she has to cover up with the hijab and everything, and that if you don't cover up, they could be stoned. So how exactly are you gonna see that? And then you're gonna sit here and be like, oh, why are women the only ones going on social media saying that they're finally liberated? Because they are the ones who are being liberated, numbnuts. They lived under real fucking oppression. None of this pansy-ass shit you call oppression here in the West.
Operations, the regime is launching
is
a counterattack. Listen to this.
Nation into an illegal and unjustified war with
Iran.
Oh
my goodness.
As someone who
deport our ass. If you don't side with America, deport our ass.
Survived the horrors of war, I know that military...
What horrors of war have you exactly survived? Please let me know. Let everyone know.
Strikes will not make us safer. They will inflame tensions and push...
How is getting rid of one of the most oppressive religions out there literally a bad thing? Like, what? It's like, bro, just because you choose to be in America and choose to be a Muslim and wear this hijab and follow an oppressive religion doesn't mean everyone else does as well. Just because you got lucky with a husband that treats you right and respects you, or let's be real, a husband who if you're married, a husband who quite literally is a fucking pussy, that's on you. But if you had a real Muslim husband with some real cojones, you wouldn't be out here speaking, dog. You wouldn't even be in this position. You'd be at home pumping out babies. Let's be real.
The region further into chaos. Every time we abandon diplomacy, we choose
That's not what happened at all.
We know who will bear the cost of this decision. Innocent civilians caught in the crossfire.
Is that why they're celebrating? Is that why these innocent civilians are literally going to social media saying they're finally feeling liberated, just like the people in Venezuela? This is the exact same shit that they did in Venezuela too. Or rather, the narrative that they try to push with Venezuela. They kept trying to push a narrative that, that us going in and taking Maduro was a bad thing. Even though Biden is the one who put out the bounty on Maduro to begin with for his arrest. So okay. Even like, I find it so ironic how, like, it's always not ironic. It's always just so humorous how the liberal Democrats will always switch sides like a fucking metronome. just because Trump's the one in charge. Literally 4 years ago during Biden, oh, we need to do something about Maduro. We'll put out a bounty on him to incentivize people turning him in because we want him turned in. Democrats now, oh my God, what an atrocity. They went in and arrested Maduro. How could they have done that? It's like, didn't you put out the bounty for his fucking head? Same fucking thing here. It's like, bro, make up your minds.
Iran's launching the missiles at the civilians.
The American
yeah, we went in and just struck, what, a few cities? Well, bro, you want to say that we're the ones causing all this turmoil? I mean, if you want to use the logic of, oh, well, technically, if we hadn't done this, Iran wouldn't have... How do you know that? How do you know that Iran wouldn't have attacked? Under the Islamic regime, how do you know that they would not have attacked these other countries? You don't. That's the thing. Plus, the fact that they not only went after Israel, but they also went after Saudi Arabia, the United Arabs. They went after the fucking Jordan. They went after Lebanon. They went after all the countries surrounding the Middle East. They had nothing to fucking do with that, actually. What did they have to? They literally said nothing. Just because there's U.S. military bases there, bro. Everything that went into striking Iran overnight, when we dropped the bombs out of them, was done from stuff that we sent over from here and from other bases that are like around Europe. We didn't even touch the Middle Eastern bases. As a matter of fact, we did the opposite to those bases. We actually got people out of there because we knew something like this might happen, but not to the extent that you fucking lunatics went out of your way to bomb innocent actual cities. Tell me, what does a residential hospital have to do with the military? What does a school district have to do with the military? What does a parking structure have to do with the military? That's where they struck, and those places were nowhere near military bases. We saw that in the last react that we did related to the conflict. The places that were struck from Iran, the Islamic terrorist regime, was literally innocent civilian places. So, along with the military bases. So how can you say that, you know, we're the ones causing all this damage, causing all this chaos, when they're the ones who went after everyone? That's odd. That's like calling Israel your ally when they have plans to nuke you if shit hits the fan. It's just very odd.
People are exhausted by endless wars built on
That's not what this is.
Promises and paid for with American
Are
and
you
foreign
kidding
lives. Me? Congress must reassert its constitutional authority.
I mean, yeah, I don't think that we should be over there, but that's for completely separate. Well, okay, here's the thing. I don't think we should be over there for the reasons we're over there. I think we should be over there to help the people of Iran be liberated from this terroristic regime that's taken over. That's a literal dictatorship. Like, I don't understand how these people can be like, we don't want fascism, we don't want a dictatorship, we don't want the XYZ, yet they'll support the terroristic fascist regime overseas and say, oh no, that's okay because sand people? Is that why? That's okay because the fucking Tuscan sand raiders live over there? Because if that's why it's okay, I don't know about you, but I feel like that's more racist than everything I just said. Oh, the comments I made about them, you know?
Authority. I urge my
None of this is unconstitutional. Yes. Will someone please explain to her what's going on here?
Listen, let me explain to you guys this in simple English. Okay?
Yes, please.
Is he going to explain it like a monkey with bananas?
By lunatics, religious fanatic lunatics. They have an ambition to have nuclear weapons. They intend.
You know what's funny? Everything that they said America would turn into because Kennedy won and Kennedy was a Catholic and Kennedy, you know, Catholics and the Catholic Church and the Pope, everything that they said that they feared would happen out of Kennedy happened in Iran with the Muslim regime. It's so funny, isn't it? You know, when Kennedy was elected, everyone thought that because he was Catholic, that meant, oh, the separation of state and church would be over because Catholics listen to the Pope. And it's like, well, first and foremost, that's where you're wrong. Catholics don't listen to the Pope. We listen to God. The Pope is just a mediator for God to interpret stuff, you know? And that doesn't mean that all of his interpretations can be true. That's why they're to the best of his ability, which is why it's also up to us to try to figure out what Christ meant. You know, that's why we also have to read the Bible and study it. But yeah, that's what happens when you don't really know much about religion, is the thing.
To develop those nuclear weapons behind a program of missiles and drones and terrorism that the world...
Okay, but here's the thing. I thought we had finished all that shit with the nuclear weapons earlier this year. Did we not? I thought we had already gotten all of Iran's nuclear facilities. And again, if this is truly about nukes, how come we're not questioning Israel about their nukes and the nukes they have? How come they don't have to give? How come every other country has to give? I forgot what organization it is, but it's a I think it's a United Nations organization. They have to give them an exact number of the amount of nuclear weapons they have. And for some reason, Iran just refuses, not Iran, rather Israel just refuses to do that. I find that quite odd. So if this truly is about the nukes, this is the thing. This is why I'm not for this, okay? I'm for helping the people of Iran. I'm not for helping the state of Israel in this conflict. Here's my question. If this is truly about nukes, why aren't we going after Israel as well? We have more than enough justification to do so.
Not be able to touch them for fear of those things. And this is the weakest they've ever...
But you point this out to Jews and they cry that, oh, everyone's targeting Israel, and then they'll say not everything's Israel's fault, even though this is Israel's fault somehow. It's not, though. That's what internets will have you on the believe.
Ever been. Now is the time to go after them. The president made the decision to go after them, take away their missiles, take away their navy, take away their drones, take away their ability to make those things so that they can never have a nuclear weapon. That's why the president made this decision. It was the right decision, and the world will be a safer place when these radical clerics...
So basically, we're there to send them back to the Stone Age. That's why. I was about to say, why don't we give them the Japan treatment and see if they turn out to like Japan, you know, drop the sun on them twice. But yeah, no, we're beyond that. That's beneath us nowadays. We don't need to drop the sun on them. We just need to eradicate them.
No longer have access to these weapons. You see how they're using them now.
Imagine you see how they're using them now, indiscriminately launching these things at all of their neighbors, including Israel. But Ilhan Omar says stopping these people.
Oh yeah, no shit, including Israel. Why wouldn't they go for Israel? I mean, realistically, if you're Iran and you're seeing what Israel's doing to Palestine and you're its neighbor, realistically, wouldn't you come to the same conclusion to like eradicate Israel? Plus, it's prophesized, you know, to that, you know. It's literally like I find it so funny how people still don't understand that the Jews are literally cursed by God. Like, it's so funny. Like, they are literally cursed by God to literally be enemies of all nations. Because inevitably, all nations will surrender to Christ. And guess what? The Jews are the children of the devil. So yeah, no shit. And they're going after the Jews. Like, everyone's going after the Jews because God basically cursed them that way. But no, we're not ready to have that conversation. Damn, we're still, holy shit, I need to let this play.
Is going to contribute to instability.
Air Force has been knocked out. Nice. They have no air detection. That's been knocked out. Their radar has been knocked out.
The fuck? Why is he so orange? Why is he so fucking tan here? Who is this from? Why did they make him so orange? Did they spray tan the president for this?
And
holy shit, looking like Ariana Grande's dad.
Just about everything's been knocked out. They're going to be in for a lot of hurt.
That sounds like a pretty stable situation to me. But ask yourself this, why is she in the tank for America's enemies?
Congresswoman, will you condemn the anti-Trump protesters who flew the Islamic Republic of Iran flag outside the White House and shouted open border obscenities?
Of course not. No. Why would she?
Are you sure you don't want to condemn the anti-Trump protesters for flying the Islamic Republic of Iran flag outside the White House?
Why doesn't she care about that? By the way, this is the video that they are asking Representative Omar to condemn. How could you be in favor of preserving a regime like this? Or is there another country out there who may have funded protests in the past in America and might be very upset that Iran is turning out for the worse for them?
All right, so you can see that none of this is grassroots. This is all paid for.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing, guys? Where are we headed with these signs?
Pro-regime signs.
Where are we going here? You guys
That's
are
wild.
saying that this is grassroots,
some
but this does
brand
not
new
look very
signs.
grassroots.
They want to stop the war in Iran.
These are literally professional signs, by the way. Look at this. This is like thick as fuck cardboard. This is thicker than the rolls for Christmas wrapping paper.
Save the regime.
You guys doing this for free? Show this to people
Look at
that
this.
say that any of this
What a scam.
is grassroots. Show it to them. Show them this clip. So all these signs that you see laid out right here.
Stop the war on
For a
Iran.
protest that Roy Neville Singham is paying for. Okay.
The fuck does that say? PSLweb.org? Okay.
A CCP billionaire who's trying to sow division into this country. He needs to be looked
Really?
at, Roy Neville Singham.
Yeah, but why would China want the regime in Iran to survive?
China is calling for an end to the war in Iran.
Well, because they get oil from Iran. That's why the regime gives them oil. It also gives Russia oil. The only reason, like I said, the only reason in the other video, the only reason Russia isn't involved is because they literally cannot spread out their fucking resources like this. It will literally lead to their own destruction, and Putin knows that it'll lead to people turning against him, and he'll see an actual, like another revolution in Russia. Because if he does some stupid shit like splitting the fronts like that, that's why. The war in Ukraine is already costing Russia so much. All right. I feel like people forget that. I feel like they forget that, you know, oh yes, the war is bad, but at the same time, it's costing Putin a lot. And yes, it might not be it is costing him a lot of money. We don't see it, you know, because it's still going on. But inevitably, he's going to run out of the funds to keep the war going. He's going to run out of fuel for his tanks. He's going to run out of the money to be able to buy the fuel for his tanks. And inevitably, because he's out of fuel, guess what? Nothing can run without fuel. So his shit will just die. And if he tries to intervene in this, and this does lead to some type of world war, you know, Russia would be fucked hardest out of everyone. Because it would probably be all of Europe, all of it, and America, against just Russia and China. And Iran, I guess. And let's be real. Russia doesn't want to have any fucking part in this, because if that were the case, then guess what? Now Putin not only has to worry about the war in Ukraine, now he has to worry about every other single front bordering Eastern Europe. Then he'll also have to worry about the seafront if America tries to do a naval invasion. So it's like, and if he starts having to spread out his troops like that, even if he has a lot of troops, guess what? That's still going to run him very thin. He's still not going to be able to do it. China's not in any type of war, except for like some type of financial trade war that they're on right now with America, because America wants independence from China, which is fucking reasonable if you ask me. You know, we shouldn't be dependent on a country that hates us for 90% of our, you know, stuff. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, they quite literally aren't doing anything. They have spare time. They can do this if they want. So yeah, this makes sense. Why wouldn't they? If their oil source is going to be put in danger, why wouldn't they intervene? Why wouldn't they want to, you know, keep the oil coming to fund their dictatorial regime? And if you're supporting China, why? I thought you were, if you're a liberal supporting China, because I know no fucking conservative is going to be supporting a communist. But if you're a liberal supporting China, my question to you is why? I thought you hated fascism. Fucking Winnie the Pooh over here is king fascist of the modern day. Like, bro, he's the literal dictator of fascism. All right? So it's like so it's like how can you be in favor of the literal Communist Chinese Party? That's literally what CCP stands for. It's the Communist Chinese Party. How can you be in favor of communism and fascism and a dictator? You call Trump a dictator, but you know, Winnie the Pooh's okay?
Iran, its energy supplies are getting squeezed. China is the world's largest importer of crude oil. More than 20% of China's oil comes from Iran and Venezuela's.
Remember. China was also bitching and moaning. They were the ones bitching and moaning about how it was bad for America to go into Venezuela. And what did we all learn? Oh, guess what? That Venezuela was sending China a shit ton of oil. Oh, wow. So I wonder why they're mad about this one.
Discounted crude.
They're the ones buying all of Iran's illegal sanctioned oil, propping up these dictators, helping them build.
Is that a fucking... It fucking is. It is a bearskin hoodie. I was like, what the fuck is he wearing? I saw the patch and I was like, what? Then I saw the hoodie, the zips, and the interior, this little thing right here, the strap, and I was like, oh, that is a fucking bearskin hoodie. I know, because I have one. And I ordered one for my family.
Their ballistic missiles, giving them the money to do all that. But what does China need all this oil for? What are they going to do with it?
It now means we have a chokehold on the strait. Look, assume that China wanted to move on Taiwan, right? There's a military...
Okay, is this land or is this water? I don't know what this is. Is this land or water? Oh, well, it says here marine traffic, so I'm assuming this is the ocean. Where the fuck is this? Is this literally south of... Where is this?
Response, but now we have a massive energy response, which is we simply don't allow any tankers to ship oil from the Persian Gulf through the Strait of Hormuz. We can do it. It might have been a...
Through the Persian Gulf. Let me see here. Let's see here. Oh, I see where that is. Oh, okay. Lord. Maps. Get out of here. Okay. I see. So all of this is between the United Arab Emirates? Yeah, United Arab Emirates and Iran. Okay, that's neat. I was curious where this was. That's good to know. I see. So it's all about that oil that's coming out from, I'm assuming, Bandar Abbas? Although the traffic appears to be coming from norther up, from the looks of it. No. Yeah, it's literally coming from there, from Bandar Abbas. I'm probably butchering that.
Little bit dicey had we not taken out the Iranians. That's roughly half of their oil, 40 to 50%
Jesus
of their oil
Christ.
is now suddenly not available to them. So those are...
What does Ilhan Omar mean? That this is going to contribute to instability across the globe and cost people everything. I mean, this is literally saving lives by stopping invasions.
Methodology.
Yeah, like without half of the... So basically, all the reasons I just gave for why Russia couldn't, join in on this nice little Chinese escapade is because they don't have the oil to do it. And now that China's oil supplies have been cut in half, essentially, they now practically don't have any fucking way to actually do any invasions. So this whole stuff of it's so funny because literally weren't Democrats going nuts like how many months ago or 2 years ago about how Taiwan's its own country and free Taiwan and how Taiwan isn't owned by China and how Taiwan's an independent nation or whatever the fuck? What happened to that? If China doesn't have oil, guess what? They can't invade Taiwan. So isn't that a plus for that movement? For the free Taiwan movement? The Taiwan is a country movement? I mean, hell, you had literal actors like John Cena apologizing in fucking Mandarin because he said that Taiwan was a country. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, come on.
And look at what happens in terms of military technology, Jesse. China provided their most advanced air defense capabilities to Iran.
Oh!
We completely
That's wild.
destroyed them. They didn't
That's
shoot
sad.
down one
Well, I mean, I can tell you why. It's because all of China's technology, when it comes to military, is literally just fucking... It's literally just outdated American technology. That's literally all it is. All of their stuff is literally just outdated American stuff that they retrofit because they can't make anything original except the computer chips for cheap. That's about it.
American or Israeli plane. This is reminiscent of
they were made in China.
1982 when the Israelis flying F-15s went up against the Syrians flying MiGs, and the Israelis beat them 81 aircraft to 0. What happened after that? They couldn't give the MiGs away. So China now has the problem that their military technology is not recognized as being up to par to the United States.
Well, yeah, that, like I said, that's because all of China's military technology is literally just outdated American technology. Everything that they have is literally because they literally salvage it from our old wrecks. That's about it. Their helicopters, their planes, their spy jets, those are all our planes, helicopters, and spy jets that we just decommissioned because we made something better. So it's like, bro, it's so funny.
That's going to have huge implications.
Oh, so not only did they just lose all the oil they need for their AI plans and their propaganda plans and their invasion plans, now if you want to fill up your military, load it up on cheap copies of Soviet era technology that come from China, you might want to think twice about that. It might not work when it needs to.
With a whole host of other countries.
Right. So they lose a bunch of customers and they lose face.
Yeah.
Now that the United States, if this mission is successful, now we have no idea how this is going to play out.
I think it's going to be pretty successful. I mean, okay, here's the thing. People are saying, and I was also saying this. I probably shouldn't have been saying this like an idiot. But people have been saying, oh, this could lead to World War III. Oh, World War III this, World War III that. But it's like, let's be realistic here for like a second, lads. Who the fuck is realistically going to join Iran's side in all this? Like, they bomb the ever-living hell out of their neighbors. So the Saudis don't like them. The United Arabs don't like them. You know? The Iraqis definitely don't like them right now. So it's like, bro, everyone in the Middle East, Yemen and Oman, I think, also don't like them. But like I said, everyone in the Middle East doesn't like Iran right now. And Pakistan and Afghanistan and Turkmenistan, I doubt any of them want to get involved right now with anything Iran is doing. You know? I fucking know for a fact Turkey doesn't want to get involved. Georgia, I highly doubt, wants to get involved either. Or Armenia. Or I don't think I've heard Armenia say a damn thing. Azerbaijan. I haven't heard anything from them either. What fucking country is this? Oh, this is just a bunch of small countries. Small districts. Oh, that's neat. But yeah, it's like... Why... Oh, is that fucking... No. Yemen's down south. Okay. Well, there's this weird little blob of land beneath Armenia that I don't know what that is. Before some dumbass says, yo, that's Iran. It's fucking in between Armenia and Iran, okay? But yeah, like, no one north of Iran wants to get involved. No one west of Iran, or east of Iran, or south of Iran wants to get involved. Russia literally cannot get involved because of the Ukraine shit. And now, if they so much as even test Poland, Poland's gonna go ballistic. So yeah. China can, you know, if they want, be all bitchy and moany. But let's be real. What's China gonna do? Their oil's just been cut off. So what are they gonna do? What can they do? Realistically, you know? Can't really do much. So yeah. So like I said, the likelihood of this escalating to some type of world war is highly unlikely because I don't see anyone joining Iran other than China. And I genuinely don't see anyone siding with them. I see Russia siding with no one and wanting to stay out of this because of, like I said, the Ukraine shit. They can't suddenly now have to take on the Belarusian border, the Latvian border, the Estonian border, or the Finnish border. Let's not get into the fucking border with America, with Alaska. You know, we also have Japan creating and wanting to re-strengthen their military, so that would not bode well, especially if America's helping with that. So yeah, it's like you have South Korea, who would more than anything side with Japan and America, because, you know, they that's South Korea. They have North Korea right above them. North Korea would probably not get involved, even if China was like begging North Korea to like help and get involved. I don't think Kim Jong-un would be like, oh yeah, me play. You know, he'd probably be like, nah, dog, you made your bed, now you lay in it. So yeah, this won't escalate to another world war. It's not going to. Anyone who's saying that it will is literally just an idiot, in my opinion. Or they're just fear-mongering for the sake of clicks on their videos, you know? And to every Christian out there and whatnot that's worried about all this going to shit and is like, oh my god, this feels like the end times, what I have to say to you is, why are you worried? Why be worried? Isn't this what we want as Christians and Catholics at the end of the day? Don't we want the book of... is it, like... It's so funny. It's like, first and foremost, sorry if I get religious here. First and foremost, why do you worry? If you have faith in God and in Jesus, you have no need to worry. Because even if you're seeing everything that's going on and you think, oh my God, it's happening, the book of Revelations is coming to fruition, why worry? Why worry? The book, we know what happens at the end. God literally told us. God said to us what happens at the end of the book of Revelations. He wins. Jesus wins. He triumphs over evil, and the world is restored to perfect order. You know? And all of his children, all of us, you know, the Christians and the Catholics, we all get to live in paradise with Jesus forever in the new world. So why are we worried? Why worry? That's literally the end goal. The end goal is the book of Revelations, because the end goal is the end of the book of Revelations. God told us what's going to happen. So that way we would have faith and we would be at ease. So that way we wouldn't worry. So that way, when trials and tribulations do come and we are persecuted, guess what? We don't have to stress, because we know the persecution's going to come. So why worry about it? It's inevitably going to happen, so why worry about it? Just remember what's going to come after that, you know, after the persecution. Yes, some of us may die because of our faith, but guess what? We're just getting an express ticket straight to Jesus. So why worry? You know? Yeah, it can be scary because, you know, we don't know, but at the end of the day, that's the point of our faith. You know? We have faith in what we don't see, so that way we can see what we had faith in all along. That's the point of it. So yeah, you're in your right to be scared and whatnot, but just remember, even if something does happen to us, even if we are persecuted and we are killed for Christ, at the end of the day, we're just like the 21. We're getting an express ticket straight to our God. We're going to get to be right by his side. Is that not like the most joyous thing you can think of? Oh no, you're going to kill me because I won't denounce my Lord and Savior? Okay, send me straight to him. I can't wait to talk to fucking Abraham and Jacob and Isaac and just hear their stories and just listen to everything they have to say about their journeys through early Earth. Are you kidding me? I can't wait to listen to Noah talk about the flood. and his journey on the flood. You know, I can't wait to hear what he went through to build that fucking boat. You know, it's like, so why worry? Why worry? That's for like, for anyone that's like religious and whatnot. It's like, why worry? You don't have to worry. We literally were told what's going to happen at the end of it all. So why worry? But now to anyone who might not be religious, and also to anyone who's not religious, like I said, if statistically and logistically speaking, if you're looking at the numbers, you also shouldn't worry, because there's no way any other country is going to side with Iran.
Praying it works
we
out.
are.
If it's successful,
we're praying for freedom for Iran.
What kind of position does that put the United States of America with Venezuela and now Iran more in our orbit?
Well, it means that a lot of countries in the developing world that might have been flirting with China don't want to flirt with them anymore because they realize that, China can...
All right, sorry for another pause here, Sir Pausington. I wonder what this means for Israel, because if y'all remember, late last year, Israel said that they were done with America, they were done with the West, and they were going to set their sights on the East, aka China and Asia. So now that no one wants to touch China, I wonder what that means for the Israelites. Will they try to bail out China monetarily? I wonder. And get in good graces with China? Or will they condemn China? Even though Asia's their quote-unquote scapegoat for when the West inevitably falls, according to them. Like I said, bro, you cannot trust the fucking Israelites or the Jews, man. You just can't. Modern day.
All the quote-unquote strategic partnerships they
they're
want.
They're worthless.
But they're not going to do anything about it if their allies get in trouble. I mean, all China's done is send some scolding messages. They haven't done a single thing to stand up for their allies. Second of all, they understand that this administration is the partner that they want to be in business with.
And also, what are we talking about here? Venezuela, Iran, Cuba, these despotic regimes form the regime support network that props up countries like Russia and China and helps them launch wars of aggression and invasions. So Ilhan...
Yes, and you want to know why Russia and China get so much support from these countries? It's because, and not just support, rather so many resources like their natural oil. It's because Russia and China fund them with weapons. They give them weapons to allow them to continue to run their countries in such a shitty way. Like, how do you think Venezuela... Do you think that, guns just rained on Venezuela and Maduro and the cartels just, happened to find this, certain part of Venezuela where it rained guns and bullets? No, they got those guns and bullets from somewhere. Granted, yes, I will say, obviously, America also has intervened and given weapons as well. I'm not discounting that. But realistically, who's going to be sending them weapons the most? America? Or who isn't getting anything from them other than drugs and death and violence and crimes? Or Russia and China, who's getting oil for them to fund their wars and their military and their militaries and their militaristic doctrine and their dictatorial regimes? If you ask me, I think it'd be Russia and China, because they're the ones getting oil. Hey, you give me some of your oil, I'll give you weapons to stay in power. And dictators love to stay in power.
And Omar, she couldn't be more wrong about the idea that taking out these regimes does anything other than make the world a better place. She might not be happy about it, but it's the truth.
Well, we have yet another bone to pick with the hapless clown, Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, he doesn't
It seems that
understand
this
either.
man can never quite act normal, and this time...
Doesn't Gavin Newsom have another tax to pass that'll just drain the lower class and the middle class even harder? Isn't there another tax gas he needs to pass to increase the price of tax and then say that, oh, look, Trump is increasing the prices of gas. Gas isn't really going down. Meanwhile, every other state gas is like $1, $2. But still, California, it's like $5. I almost said $3, but that's because I remember someone else telling me that I think it was $3 where they live. But no, and then I was like remembering the sign that I saw that I was taking a picture of to send to them. It was like $4.89, $4.95, and then $4.99, and then diesel was like $5.60. I was like, brother, what the fuck is this? Thanks, Gavin Newsom. Thanks for that tax on gas yet again.
It is with some truly disgusting attacks on Israel and the Jewish community.
He's part of the regime counterattack.
Breathtaking in its ignorance, and I honestly cannot believe that this man is being taken seriously.
And a lot of Democrats have looked at the Netanyahu regime and felt like, you know what, we don't like the trajectory he's on. It's time to rethink the U.S. relationship with Israel, especially military support.
That's what the regime wants. The regime wants the U.S. to give up on Israel so that it can survive and so that the United States can be weakened.
I don't know if about you, but I think we should crush the regime and peace out from Israel. Why the fuck are we funding the people that attack the USS Liberty? Why are we funding people that literally have plans to nuke our major cities if we decide to, go to war against them? As a matter of fact, how do they have plans to nuke our major cities if they supposedly themselves don't have nukes? Explain that one to me. I bet you fucking can't. Because it doesn't make sense. But again, like I said, why the fuck? Like, I will never understand this fucking radical support for Israel. I will never understand why we're supporting this fucking disgusting country.
Because these regimes love taking advantage of us, but listen.
He's taking that easy right now. Let's talk about that. But the issue of Bibi's interesting because he's got his own domestic issues. He's trying to stay out of jail.
Okay.
He's got an election coming up.
Yeah, so do you, buddy.
He's potentially on the ropes. He's got folks, the hard line, that want to annex the West Bank. I mean, Freeman and others are talking about it appropriately, sort of an apartheid state.
Oh, my goodness.
They couldn't even, we're talking about regime change. For 2 years, they haven't even been able to solve the Hamas question in Israel. So this is,
as if he would be able to solve it.
I want to be careful here, but, in so many ways, that influence in the context of the conversation of where Trump ultimately landed on this is pretty damn self-evident.
This guy knows how to say nothing.
That was Gavin Newsom,
for a long
the governor
time.
of California, and I just want to bring
Gavin Newsom doesn't know how to say shit. He knows how to word vomit, which is what's funny, that's what he knows how to do. He just like Kamala, he knows how to word vomit a lot, and he never talks about any of his actual policies or anything he's going to do different. All he ever says is Trump bad because Trump bad. That's all he ever says. Like, bro, he's been asking for like these $10,000 or $10 million to fix homelessness in California for like the past fucking 20 years, since like the 90s. And he's been getting that money. So what are we doing about that? Huh? How are there still this massive, how is the homelessness issue rising in California with all that money?
To this clip, to all Jewish Democrats out there, this is your party now. This is where they are headed.
They're the party of the regime. Every regime that has been taken out by the Trump administration, Maduro, the remnants of the Castro regime over there in Cuba, and now Iran, they are on the side of the regimes because they are not on the side of our country. That's the simple truth right here. These are people who would do another Barack Obama-style Iran deal, which we're now learning was actually worse under the Biden administration, and nobody said anything.
As the Biden administration released billions of dollars to Iran that were frozen, money that was frozen because of sanctions, Biden released the money, gave it to the mullahs, and the mullahs turned around and financed Hezbollah, Hamas, October 7th, the Houthis, and whatever other terror groups they could fund. That's what happened in the Biden-Harris administration.
Why would you want that?
She's never ever answered for that. Won't, can't. I don't even know if she knows it. I don't have much regard for Kamala Harris's intellect. but now she's condemning it. Okay.
Remember when she said she wanted to run for for California, governor of California again, after her 4 years of vice presidency, and everyone just told her to fuck right off? Like, brother.
How do you not?
You, lady,
yes, she
I'm
did
sorry
it.
to be disrespectful, were vice president when an American administration for 4 years empowered mullahs in Iran to kill people, including Americans.
Terrible.
That's what you did.
Right.
And said nothing.
Yep.
You said nothing.
While the border was open, all the regime sympathizers in America want to do is destroy our country and attack it every single way they can. They want to fund our enemies overseas. They want to let them in through the southern border. It's like these folks are living in an alternate world where America is the enemy that needs to be taken down, and the forces of evil that want to launch ballistic missiles at innocent civilians, as we've seen Iran do as part of their counterattack, that's who they're sticking up for. That's who, and they say they care about women and children. They say they care about protecting people, but all they do is fund.
They say they care about women and children, then they'll ridicule the women and children crying out for help. They'll ridicule the women and children that are quite literally celebrating finally feeling like there's actually going to be freedom in their future. That's who they'll ridicule and mock.
Things that harm people and fun things that disenfranchise.
Those are the people I'm hoping we hope. I said that backwards. Those are the people I'm hoping we help. Is those individuals, the ones that asked America for help, the ones that are saying, America, we need your help in this crisis. Please come help us. Those are the people that I'm hoping we're helping. Though that's what I want America's reason to be there for. I want our reason to be there in Iran is to help the people that are quite literally being oppressed, crying out to us for help. I don't want to be there because some other fucking nation got pissy over some fucking bullshit Middle Eastern politics.
Franchise people, it's terrible and it's wrong.
Yeah, the press is doing everything it can to root for Iran.
Yeah.
The press is actually rooting for Iran. I watch ABC.
When you
World
say
News.
Iran, you mean the people or the regime?
The regime.
They want America to lose.
Yes, they do.
So that would be the regime. You see, I'm voting for Iran. I'm rooting for Iran, but I'm rooting for the people. I want the people to finally be free. I want that regime to go down. I want the oppressive regime that tells women that if they take off their hijab, they'll get stoned to death to go down. That's who I want to go down. I want the actual oppressors to go down. The people who are actually violating women's human rights. Those are the people that I want to go down, you know. The media, on the other hand, wants those people to fucking succeed, funny enough. It's like, what? Why? Why do you want people who would quite literally stone you to death to be the ones to succeed? Why do you want the people that say death to America to succeed? That's something I will never understand. Like, do you think that just because you say, oh, yay, I want you to win, that means they won't kill you because you cheered for them? Are you gonna, you think they'll be like, oh no, wait, this American's different. I remember this American. They said they wanted us to succeed. Let them live. No, because you're an American and because you're not a Muslim, guess what? If you're a woman, they're just gonna capture you, rape you, torture you, and then behead you. That's what they'll probably do to you. And if you're a man, they'll probably just kill you. If we're being honest, you'll get off easy. You'll just die instantly. You know, it's the women and children that are going to suffer the most out of it, which is why, again, why I say, why the fuck would you want them to win? Why do you want the people that would quite literally harm women and children to win?
News tonight on ABC, and I work for ABC, so did you.
Plus, I like eating bacon.
Did 15 minutes last night. Did 8 segments. Every segment negative. And I mean really negative. Every segment. Not one positive word.
Listen, this has been the playbook. Whenever America has gotten involved in any conflict. There has always been the forces that want to see our country lose. And when I was younger than 10 years old, I remember sitting on the floor, watching the television, watching Desert Storm coverage. And you know what the news had on? I'll never forget this. They had a whole segment on how the troops are going in to this environment in the desert. And the last time we had a war in a new environment, it was Vietnam, and they went in and they didn't have the right boots and things were a disaster and we lost, and that might happen again. Meanwhile, Desert Storm was one of the most successful military operations and campaigns in history. And these people said it was a waste of time and that America...
Operation Iraqi Freedom, who remembers that? Fucking niceness, bro.
America was going to lose again and that our troops didn't have the right equipment. I mean...
My mom was on the fucking carriers over there during Operation Iraqi Freedom. So, yeah.
Give me a break.
Now, one word on how bad the mullahs were. David Muir. In addition to that, David Muir to the world tonight.
Let's see here. Poll. Americans on military action in Iran. This is by SSRS/CNN. February 28th through March 1st. They surveyed 1,004 adults. That's a weird number. Okay. Well, not just 1,000 flat. They got 41% approval, 59% disapproval. Here's my question: Where exactly was this taken? What state? I want to know what state.
70 times in 17 minutes. So, I mean, I'm going, what the deuce is happening? I work for Jennings, who was excellent, okay? But I didn't even watch the other two. I just watched World News Tonight. And after watching it, I wanted to surrender. We should surrender.
Long-term military conflict between U.S. and Iran is likely, I'm assuming, was what they say. 30% say it's unlikely, 56% say it's unlikely. Well, based off of everything I said earlier, I feel like it should be the other way around. I feel like it should be like, 60% unlikely to 40% likely. I feel like that's what it should really be. Because realistically, how can they put up a fight against America? Realistically, how can Iran put up a fight against America? They can't. Like they said, we've already taken out their Air Force. Their Navy's gone. Their air surveillance is gone. So the military is basically, or rather not the military, the regime is basically in the dark. So I say this doesn't even last till the end of March. I'd be surprised if it does. And if it does, then my next prediction is it probably ends by mid-May. If it drags on throughout March, it'll probably drag on throughout April, and it'll probably end mid-May, if I have to say mid to late May. But I highly doubt it will, because like I said, they don't have the resources for it anymore, and they can't get the resources from anywhere else, because I doubt China's going to start sending Iran resources, because guess what? If China starts doing that, they're just wasting oil. They need to conserve their oil now because their oil input has essentially just been reduced by half. Which means their oil output will also be reduced because the amount of oil they'll be able to export will have to be lowered to compensate for the amount of oil no longer being imported. So yeah, they quite literally wouldn't be able to afford any of it at all. And if they can't export any oil because they have to now be more conservative with their oil, guess what? That's less money in their pocket. So either they keep on exporting stuff without the oil and they start losing money, or they conserve their oil so that way, and they don't do anything stupid because they need to compensate, and they start exporting less oil, losing money. So no matter what, they're going to lose. So realistically, they're probably in panic right now because they have zero clue what to do, which is probably why they're saying, oh, yeah, that's why they're probably trying to play the humanitarian all of a sudden, saying, oh, the war is bad in Iran. Like, Bro, please, your entire fucking government is bad for China.
To Iran. Watching ABC News, we lost.
Oh, that's similar to Iraq.
That's how crazy
Yeah.
it is. They want Trump broken.
I don't think that anybody. I don't think
They're
anybody's
hoping that this conflict is the external force that comes out of nowhere and gets rid of Trump for them. That's what they're hoping, because they haven't been able to get rid of Trump. They've tried. They tried to put him in jail. They've done everything they can. They're hoping something comes along, whether it's the files, whether it's Iran, whether it's the regime somewhere, someplace, whether it's China, they don't care. We've got some negative news coverage. Let's suffer through this and
now to our special
see the propaganda, allegedly.
This is day 5, with more devastation and destruction across the region.
Across the
A US
region.
submarine sinking an enemy warship by torpedo, the first time since World War II. In all,
snap.
11 nations are now involved, and we're with
It's
the
a
military
world war,
families
according
at the
to
center
them.
of it. Those mourning the lost, and those fearful of what's to come.
And people are afraid.
Fayetteville, North Carolina, also known as home of the airborne, because of its proximity to Fort Bragg, is thousands of miles away from Iran. But people here, like Cravis Tabron Jr., know very well the beginnings and aftermath of war.
In October '69, I was going through basic training right here at Fort Bragg. People ask me all the time, did you like the Army? No, I love the Army.
This is one of the items.
1969,
owns
Vietnam.
a sweater embroidery store now. But that love he talks about led him to serve his country for 29 years. First as an infantry soldier during the height of the Vietnam War.
I mean, look, we don't even have to watch this to see what direction it's going. Vietnam was the last time America lost anything, because for some reason they don't want to talk about the disaster in Benghazi or the horrible withdrawal from Afghanistan. Nope, they don't want to talk about that stuff, and how those losses, along with Vietnam, were political losses, with America reneging on its commitments to South Vietnam, allowing them to eventually get conquered. But it's the same playbook. It's the same, oh, America's gonna lose playbook, and oh, people are afraid, and oh, there's chaos across the world, and there's all these countries, and we find people that...
I find it funny that they're showing this. This is, you do realize that the only reason they're showing this is because they want to display that they have some type of power. When in reality, they don't. They don't really have any type of power. So, like... it's propaganda at the end of the day. This is just propaganda, this footage right here of them having like these military missiles and all this stuff. It's like, yeah, cool, they have the missiles, but we took out their ability to use those missiles. So they're basically just paperweights, oversized paperweights, because they can't launch them. Okay, cool, they have an army, but they don't have the mobile fucking vehicles or the fuel to resupply those vehicles. So how exactly are you going to be able to move all these troops around? They won't be able to. They'll be sitting ducks. So it's like, again, it's like this is just, don't fall for it.
Talk about how this could go on forever and how this could become a worldwide conflict. Look, every single one of us is hoping and praying that that doesn't happen. Nobody wants to see conflict, but Marco Rubio's right. He hit the nail on the head. We're not fighting people who are rational actors. We're fighting people who will fight us if they get the opportunity. And now the question for stability and peace and safety and to save as many lives as possible is, do you allow harm to come to your country? Or do you do something about it?
This is very important. This is very important, and we're doing very well on the war front, to put it mildly, I would say. Somebody said, on a scale of 10, where would you rate it? I said about a 15.
So we're not losing.
We're going to continue to do
It's
well.
not
We have the greatest
Vietnam.
military in the world by far, and that was a...
Well, no, of course this isn't like Vietnam. Nothing will ever be like Vietnam. Why? Because our technology has gotten better since Vietnam. Technology has advanced. I feel like that's something people forget about when they do the comparison to Vietnam, is that back in Vietnam, our technology for surveillance was very limited. Okay? So we had to improvise a lot of stuff. And in Vietnam, we couldn't tell friend from foe. because of the guerrilla warfare and because of the tactics the Viet Cong used, sacrificing the innocent for their cause. You know, because let's be real, animals don't care about human lives. So it'll never be the same because our surveillance is better tenfold since Vietnam. Our military is better. Everything about America, military-wise, is better than it was back in the day. Okay? So there is no way you just cannot make that comparison anymore. Okay? If we were to fail again and something were to be the new Vietnam, we'd start making the comparison to that and we'd drop Vietnam. Why? Because that's a recent example with our current recent modern military. But because we don't, like you said, we don't talk about those other failures, we talk primarily about Vietnam, but that's because Vietnam was the most drastic loss for America. It was the first time I think America had lost, and it was a big blow to us. And it felt like democracy had lost for the first time ever, for the first time ever. So yeah, it'll always be a whole lot different, but you cannot keep comparing modern day modern day what's the word I'm looking for? Modern day conflicts to wars of old. That's like comparing, this incident to something along the lines of World War One. It's like, and saying something ridiculous about it and making some stupid comparison. It's like, okay, well, you have to think about the era, the time, and the technologies that we had at the time. Everything has advanced so much more since then. I mean, hell, during Vietnam, we had radio. Like we had stuff radio. Television was barely being rolled out, and it was in black and white.
Tremendous threat to us for many years, 47 years. I think we have great support.
So the president says we're ahead. All reports indicate that we are ahead. The Iranian counterattack is not reckoned with, that we have been told. Their military equipment, it all came from China. It's all been wiped out. This regime is going to fold. We're all hoping and praying that this ends soon. At least all of us who aren't elected members of Congress who possibly have an ulterior motive. Let me know what you think about that. I'll see you in the next video.
All right. So honestly, my final thoughts are, Israel bad jokes aside and all that jazz, in all seriousness, in my opinion, I feel like you're entitled to criticize this entire conflict however you want, but I don't feel like people in government should be painting out America to be the bad guys. I feel like you're allowed to criticize and questioning why we're there, why we're doing this, and maybe inquire as to that. I feel like that's how you should criticize if you're in government, in a way against this. But I don't think you should outright be saying that, oh, America is bad for doing this and America bad, blah, blah, blah. Because, like, realistically, you're an elected representative of the officials of the United States of America. You represent the people of the United States of America. You're essentially saying the people who live here are bad. And those are the people who elected you into power. I feel like no government elected official should ever be saying that about the people that elected them to represent them. I personally don't want my government elected official saying that, oh, that the country that I live in is bad because they're doing something. I feel like they should question why. And once they're out of office, say, yeah, I thought this was a bad idea because of XYZ. I feel like that's what they should do. But it shouldn't be outright being like Ilhan Omar saying, oh, this is bad. This is so bad. I feel like the service members who are angry about this are entitled to their own opinions as well, but at the same time, you cannot be making these types of posts or be criticizing any of this stuff while in uniform. It's literally like, are we forgetting basic already? Like, come on, it's basic. It's literally something we're taught at basic training. It's part of the UCMJ. We're not allowed to make protests while in uniform. If you want to do that in your civvies and speak on your own personal opinion, not as a military member, sure, that's your right, you know. Just know that there will be a little bit of consequences to that. But if you're going to be out there in uniform, you cannot be doing that. You cannot. You can't. Okay? No matter how much, no matter how, like, because at the end of the day, you're government property. All right? At the end of the day, you signed a contract saying you would be government property, and at the end of the day, you're the government's property. So yeah, it kind of looks bad when the government's property is saying that the government is doing something bad. Now, if you're doing that on your own time, on your own private social medias, that's totally fine. Okay, go for it. Power to you. But don't do it in uniform. That's what I say. That's literally a violation of UCMJ. But all in all, I see this as a good thing because we're helping the people of Iran. I feel like if we're successful with this regime change, which we should be, you know, in crushing the Islamic regime and allowing, you know, them to go out and prosper, is good. I don't, however, but at the same time, it's like America was like they had elected an official, and because America didn't vibe with them, they intervened, which kind of sucks ass. So I'm kind of hoping that after this regime change, if they elect someone and the person they elect is pro-America but anti-Israel, I hope we don't fucking intervene again like we did back in the day. You know, because that would be stupid and it would be hypocritical of America, and it would have had, at the end of the day, been a complete fucking waste of time for us. At that point, yes, then this was a pointless, useless war. And at that point, then yeah, you could say this is on par with Vietnam, if not worse. Because we went in, we changed it, and because we didn't like the outcome of the change that we caused, we went in and fucked shit up even worse. That's what I don't want to see. Okay, but I am in favor of liberating the people and them being free and them being allowed to choose the path that they want to choose, as opposed to an ideology and a lifestyle being forced upon them that they did not want. I believe that for every single country in the Middle East. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, and all that YouTube jazz. Sorry, this was a long one, but yeah, I'll catch you on the next one later.